Hello, good evening. Above, trying to practice talking as much as I can. Yeah, that still hasn't thing. If you're the first time watching me and you don't know like what's with the straw and why did I do that, had heat stroke back in July. Can't talk normal for some reason when I'm trying to talk to people without the aid of the straw for some reason. Long story short, that's just what it is currently. I'm My name is Brandon Wheeler, and I'm trying to do more biblical topic videos and just talking about everything and stuff. I have my water to the side, and I have some sweet tea from Chick-fil-A, as I always try to have some tea when I want to do these videos. I don't know, should I call these videos a certain thing? Tea, Bible tea time or something? It's Bible tea time on Tuesday because I'm trying to upload one of these videos a week on Tuesdays, as much as I can anyway, depending on schedule stuff. But I'm taking a topic and I'm just going to talk about it. So, something at least I'm focused on or anything or something thinking about. Last week, I started in the morning time, I started to read through Ephesians. And I got stuck on Ephesians 5. I did read 6 once, but I went back to 5. But I just wanted to stick on 5 for morning readings, and I've been there pretty much ever since. Uh, Ephesians 5 deals with, marriage and walking in love and how a husband's supposed to do things. Yes, it starts with marriage and stuff, but me being a man, I'd be the husband and everything. Talks about behaviors for, a Christian and what they are and what they are not to do. And then, Sunday morning at a church I visit here in Texas. I'm in the military. This was sent to me by my church back at home for, because of this, they wanted to cheer me up and everything. And they got me this flag, which is cool. But, and at that, I got from that thing there, I got from Korea when I was there. Um, on Sunday at this church I go to here, they also talked a little bit about marriage and everything from Proverbs, from some different verses and everything, and why different things like that should be a thing. And I'll get into that. But also, in light of some things, I won't bring it up what it is. There was something that happened online with some famous person. I do know who the person is. I don't mean personally, but I mean this person is online, some famous person, revealing that this person possibly is the victim of abuse. It's not clear if it's true or not or anything, and I'm not going to get into it. I hope it's not true. I mean, I hope it's not, fake. I hope it's not, them just trying to gouge up money and interest and that they actually try to get help and everything. That's what I'm trying to say. Because internet people, you don't know when people are faking stuff or not. But besides that, but if she was actually suffering abuse and everything, and in light of the context of husbands walking in love, it gives everything kind of a perspective and everything. Because when I was seeing all the situation kind of all of a sudden break out and unfold, I was like, man, I don't want to be that way. I don't want to be. I want to be. Ever since I was a little kid, like very little, I, for some reason, I don't, from Lord or whatever, I don't know. I've always had a desire to want to be married one day, and I hope so. Well, I cut the straw. I have several straws, and I cut them in half. So this is one I cut in half to try to make it a little bit easier. But it moves around a lot when it's short, I'd noticed, so it's a little bit uncomfortable on that end. But it's just another way of trying. Anyway, and this past week, I've really been thinking, what it means to, like, because in my life, having to deal with a lot of different things concerning this and just things going on here, what it means to, love somebody righteously, oaks of righteousness. I haven't forgot that term. I like that term. I want to get that painted or something. I want something with that. But I'm I'm really praying that, one day I could be a good husband, loving husband, supportive, always leading to Christ and everything. I don't want to be an abuser, gaslighter, or anything like that. And you say, oh, of course you want that. That's the thing. But one thing is that you have to love the person. And you can't force love. If you say, you will love me, and a type thing, just like, that's not love. Because love is a choice. You can choose the Lord or you cannot choose the Lord. The Lord is omnipotent. He's omniscient. He knows what can happen if you choose him, if you don't choose him, but he's given you free will. And you have choices to make in life. What do you want? What do you want to choose? What do you want to do? I mean, he can guide you if you let him, but you got to let him in. No friendship, no relationship is ever going to work out if you don't trust somebody and if you don't love them, no matter what you do or anything. Now, I think I'd probably just stick with Ephesians here, but in Ephesians 5, in the very beginning, therefore be imitators of God as beloved children. This is, I guess, English Standard Version is what I got from the Bible thing. Maybe next week I'll bring up my actual Bible, my personal Bible, King James and stuff. You'll see that. And therefore be imitators of God as beloved children, and walk in love as Christ loved us and gave himself for us, a fragrant offering and sacrifice to God. And then it goes into, sexual immorality, impurity, covetousness must not be even named among you. You could say this section is really more about, Christian behavior, how we're to walk and everything, despite, struggles and everything that people may have in life. It's not excusing the struggles. It's, if you think you're okay with certain things, it's like, oh, that doesn't bother me. And that's okay. God likes that. God's allowed that. It's just like, you are in jeopardy, my friend. It's one thing to have an issue with it and have a problem with it and everything, but it's another thing to be like, oh, it's okay. No, it's not okay. But that's all talking about in the last that way. So sticking with, that's first two verses, but from 3 all the way to 20, you could say it's, really about Christian behavior, how we're to walk in the new walk, following the Lord Jesus Christ and everything. I'll let you read that. But then it gets into verse 22. Wives, submit yourself to your husbands as to the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, his body, and is himself its Savior. Now, as the church submits to Christ, so also wives submit to everything to their husbands. Now, for me, this is, again, also, put a protocol on this. Husbands, you do have to submit to your wife as well in things, just so you know, because it's not a give or take thing. It's a walk. People say marriage is give and take, and I can't really say I know either way because I'm not married. I've never been in any type of relationship or anything whatsoever, but I don't necessarily think it's all just give and take. It's got to be a mutual walk. That's where, things are, because it's not just, oh, happy wife, happy life. Okay, maybe she's happy, but why does the husband have to be miserable then? That's not a biblical view of what a right relationship would be. But 25, husbands, love your wives, as Christ loved the church and gave himself for her, that he might sanctify her, having cleansed her by the washing of water and the word. And talks about different things, about everything, but I just want to, down to 33. However, let each one of you love his wife as himself, and let the wife see she respects her husband. But focusing on the first part, let each one of you love his wife as himself. Loving yourself. For many years, I have to say, this has been an issue with me. Part of the reason why I've been stuck on Ephesians 5 for the past week. I've always had a hard time loving myself. And as far as like what was the reason why, I don't know exactly. Was it because I got picked on a lot in school and everything? Like, we saw pictures of me as a kid. Like, I have a friend, he showed me this picture. We found this old picture of me in my soccer uniform when I was a little kid. I was skinny, I was smiling. I mean, I can smile now, but the smile was completely genuine and everything else, whereas sometimes today I have to just feel like I'm forcing a smile. I've come a long way, mind you, past couple years. But like, I remember when I worked at Walgreens, people used to say, "Why don't you smile?" And I was like, so I worked at Walgreens for almost 6 years. It's where I met people who, and long story short, it's by them that Lord used them to bring me to the church I'm at now. Lord plans everything, mind you. He makes everything work for good. But I I I do really so much want to love someone and be a great husband, be someone who's there for her, care for her, and just be good and everything, and be his best husband as I can be, provide, and blah blah blah. You can go through all the motions that you can think of what type of husband you want to be. Of course, you're gonna mess up, but I really want to be a father. But again, since this happened, why I can't talk to anyone without this, and I can talk to myself normally without it when I'm alone. I've had to really look at everything in my life and see what's going on with me. And if nothing else, I feel like the Lord's addressing something with this, or use this to help finally get me to see, like, to address things in myself that I need to work on. I started to earlier this year. I remember sending a message out a couple months ago asking people, "Do you think I'm a burden?" Because sometimes I just feel like that's what I am. Because don't feel like I do anything right. I don't. Big thing for you. I don't have anything to offer. That's a big thing for me because I'm just a poor guy. Blah blah blah. Okay, I'm smart. Big deal. That's me. Again, being vulnerable and honest here. But if I really want to love someone, how can I love her if I don't love myself? Like my speech specialist, when I saw her 2 Fridays ago, or almost 2 Fridays ago, she said, things you have doubts about yourself and everything, would you really be saying the same? Would you be really saying the same thing about, if someone was saying this stuff about themselves, would you allow them to say that? And I'd be like, no, I wouldn't allow them to say that. Because things they're saying about themselves are not necessarily true. It's one thing to be realistic with yourself but not beat up yourself. But I still beat up myself. That's not necessarily for any reason. Just feel like, oh, I should be faster in this. I should have recovered from this by now and everything. Like, dude, you've had a major episode. We don't know what it is. We don't know what's wrong with you, essentially. But like what she said, that you are making, it's slow, but slight progress. I've come quite tough and to point kind of I feel hard, but that's okay. I keep trying. Even if this is the permanent thing for me, it's not the end of the world. But if I really want to love someone, then I have to be able to love myself. Because, like, what verse is it? Verse 29, for no one ever hates his own flesh, but nourishes and cherishes just as Christ does the church. A couple verses down, therefore shall a man leave his father and mother and hold fast to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. So if I'm hating myself, I would eventually be hating her, which I guess could lead to abuse and everything. And I never, not that I think I'd ever would, but I don't ever want to even entertain the thought that I would. I have a great heart for people, and I really want to love on people, but I got to learn to really love on myself. Sorry, let's draw back to using a straw. It's either that or a pen across my mouth. And the pen I used to use I had to throw out. It was too gungy. These I can wash. But it's just things, thinking about this past week and everything, and even something I got surprisingly this morning, like, interesting. Is that a thing forever? No. I think it could be, restored in a way down the line, but nothing else right now. I'm still, like my pastor said, stop saying you're broken. Just have a little problem right now, but stop claiming you're broken and everything. And again, going back to that Proverbs, was it 24:17 verse that I used from, that someone gave me. No, that's not it. Where is it? Oh gosh, I don't remember what it was. But it says, a joyful heart, joy makes the heart glad, and sorrow dries up the bones, or so. Just pray for me that I learn to love myself more. And if you're watching this video, maybe you really want to get married like I do or whatever, but start building up yourself and caring for yourself, because when you show you can care for others, rephrase that. When you show you can care for yourself, and that you are meaning what you say, that I will care for you, because you show that you can care for yourself, not in a vain way, not in a bad way, but showing that, these are things I'm trying to say to myself, okay, that I'm trying to really envelop in myself and everything. But if you're showing the love of Christ to yourself and being gracious to yourself and helping yourself to grow, how much more can you do to others? If you're doing it to others, you need to do it to yourself, essentially. So husbands, love your wives. This is a topic I think I'm going to revisit several times. There's different ways to talk about it and everything. This is just one aspect, I guess, thinking about it. But learn to love yourself. It's taken me many years to start addressing these things and really look for the joy in the Lord in my life. Like, I started looking for the joy a little bit a few years ago, then I realized I lost it again because of this, and I'm trying to gain it back. And I'm trying to get better because I want to be better, because I have an idea or a thought that in the future, at church or whatever, that maybe I could be like, I'm not a pastor. I know that I am not a pastor. I've been through that idea before. I entertained it briefly. I remember asking, was it Mr. Bruce and Mr. Ray or so? Some people, elders at the time at the church and everything. They gave me some ideas and everything, but I was like, I don't know. But pastoring, I don't feel is my call. But being an elder or something, deacon, whatever you want to call it, I don't know. I don't even like calling it that. But someone who, is there to help mentor younger generations, talking, teaching, or whatever, that I can be. And you would say, well, that's far off. And for me, yes, it is a long way off before any type of capacity in that way. But I have to look at it this way, that, The people who are in the positions they are now, or whoever you are at your church, the people in those positions now, they're more than likely a lot older than you, right? If something happens to them and they pass away or whatever, who's going to fill those roles? Who's going to step in? Who's going to, teach the teenagers? Who's going to teach the young kids? Who's going to be there to help out people? Who's going to be like, hey, I'm here to help you and be your shoulder to cry on if you need to, offer, support and love and care. That's what I've been thinking about as far as my relationship to church and everything, because I want to be more involved. Sorry. So in order to be that, then it's like, okay, if I'm going to do that, I need to prepare myself. Okay, maybe it's going to take 20 years before I'm at that place that I could be in a position like that. Okay, cool. Maybe it'll never come up. But it's the point of like, I want to make myself available for whatever the Lord has in my life to be helping with the body as much as I can. That's partly why I'm doing these videos, to get the idea of used to talking to people, trying to get my thoughts better down. And because I do have a thing like, hey, I do like an idea of teaching. My problem is organization, trying to organize the thoughts and everything. And I was trying to do that, and just a lot of things came up, and it was just like, I need to do more pre-advance. I am getting better at that, like with my stories and stuff. I'm actually trying to plan things in advance with some stories I'm working on, like, hey, because I want to get published or have them made in the movies, stuff like that. I'm trying to get better and more professional, you could say. I am an expert and I am professional. Part of the Soldier Creed. So, I guess the summary of this thing is, husbands, if you want to love your wives, love yourselves in the way that you can love others. And something I definitely need to work on, especially if I want to get in a relationship one day, because when I say to her, I love you, I really want to mean that. But I can't really be truthful and fruitful with that if I'm compromised and hate myself and everything, because how am I going to cherish her and build up her, but I can't build up myself and anything. And if I rip down myself, how can I be supportive of others? Because if you just wallow in the dirt all the time, you're not going to be helping everybody else, because you're just in the dirt, or someone else needs to be lifted up out of the dirt. You can be the person to do it, but they can't because you're focused on yourself. Yes, there are things to work on. Yes, there are things to address in your life. Yes, there are things to be like, hey, you need to change this. But there are other things to be like, you know what? That's not important. Don't focus on that. Step aside, let the Lord work, move on. So, I don't know what future holds and everything, but I'm just trusting the Lord for everything that goes on. So, thank you for watching this. Push comments, concerns, and everything. We'll see what next week's topic's going to be. Maybe it's on the same subject, different section. Maybe the attitudes of the Christian attitudes in that section or whatever. Beginning part of Ephesians 5, or it could be a completely different part. We'll see. All right, well, we'll see you. I'll see you in the next one, and bye-bye. Goodbye.